Welcome to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Two sports talking sports with those in the know on the Brouhaha Show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brouhaha. Dale McKee. Good to see you tonight. Seems like just yesterday we were beginning a new year and waiting to see who the NCAA Division I football champions would be. Now it's February and we're waiting to see who wins the Super Bowl. How are you this fine February evening, Dale?
I'm doing good for the first day of February.
Yeah. February's a big month.
It's short though.
It's short, but it packs a lot in there. We got a Super Bowl. We got Valentine's Day. Don't forget Valentine's Day, Dale. You might get in trouble.
Yeah, and I got one of my sisters has a birthday this month.
Oh.
I think my daughter-in-law has a birthday. I got a lot of birthdays in the family, like 4 or 5 of them in February.
Wow.
Was there something in the water in February?
I don't know. Sounds like somewhere around your place there might have been.
Evidently it was.
We digress. Tell us about. We better change the subject quick before we
offend somebody's
I was
ears.
going to say the FCA comes down on it, but it ain't the FCA. They may get on us too, but it's the FCC, huh?
Yeah.
All righty. Who you got for us tonight?
We have a long-time Jackson sports writer named Robert Wilson, and Robert's still writing sports. He has a site called Mississippi School Board.
Oh.
And it's very good. He's got some talented writers. He's got some great camera people, and check it out. They kind of stay around that Jackson area.
Yeah.
But he does venture out.
Yeah.
He does venture out, does some college games and, all-star games and things of that nature.
Okay. Well, if the past is any indication, we ought to have some fun and maybe learn a little bit too. But first, let's take a little quick break and hear from some of our sponsors. Then Dale and I will be back with tonight's guest right after the break.
Do you have any roof damage or missing shingles? Do you need a roof inspection to ensure your roof is functioning properly? Look no further than the roofing specialist Jackson Brothers Construction Services. We are here to service you with affordable prices, amazing customer service, and quality work you'll be proud of. Call us today at 251-295-6442.
The Jackson Brothers Construction Services. They'll do you right. You heard it here first.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
All right, welcome to the show, Robert Wilson. Robert, how you doing today?
Hey, Dale, I'm doing fine. Thanks so much for having me on today.
All right, how's the sports writing business in the Jackson area going?
Oh, it's going good. I could work 24 hours a day, I think, on stuff going on around here.
Hey, I saw yesterday where Austin Davis resigned from Auburn as the offensive coordinator, and he said he had to spend more time with his family, and he just came from pro football, so I'm not understanding, but now I kind of understand it with the NIL and with the transfer portal and with the high school recruiting and the early signing date and the February signing date. I can understand that college football coaches are working as long as pro football coaches now, just about.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I remember when he was at West Lauderdale in high school, and then he went down to Southern Miss, and I've read several stories about him. He's had a great coaching career, and I'm not sure. I hope he's okay. I don't know if it's a situation going on with his family or maybe extended family. I'm not sure.
Well, we all hoping that, that's not it. I also want to talk to you about, you did a great story on Stetson Bennett, the Georgia quarterback. You talked to Coach Buckley. Why don't you share with our listeners a little bit of that conversation with Coach Buckley?
Sure thing. I've been knowing Steve since I covered Southern Miss for the Clarion Ledger from 1989 to 1998, and Steve was on staff there as running back coach and maybe some other positions, but we got to be friends then and kind of followed him along the longest path in his career, and he's done a great job down at Jones. And, Stetson Bennett walked on at Georgia, and then he decided to, see where didn't think he'd play him some more, so trying to find another place to play. And Coach Jones got a hold of him. He had a friend over there in Georgia. They kind of got together, and started talking, and he liked what Coach Buckley was doing over here. He said he runs his program like a Division I program, and his parents came over and they liked it, so he got to Jones and played real well for that 1 year, and then he was going to go to Louisiana Lafayette, and almost decided to do it, and one of the quarterbacks at Georgia left, and Kirby Smart called him up and said, listen, we've got a scholarship here for a backup quarterback. Do you want it? And he decided to go ahead and take it, not knowing whether he'd play or not, and then, started to work his way up, and now he's a national championship starting quarterback.
Hey, great story, great story. Seems like a fine young man. Tell us what you...
I was going to bring up, you brought up Jones. I just did a story the other day about the Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year. DJ Smith from Greenville Christian has just committed to Jones and is going to be signing Wednesday with them.
Well, that's great news too. Well, this past weekend we watched the playoff games. NFL's got a little last couple of weeks. They've entertained us pretty well. What do you think about Joe Burrow's performance and the Cincinnati Bengals in general? Was that a surprise to you?
It was. He did a great job at LSU, and they had a magnificent season down there. But I just didn't know if what he did at LSU would translate as a pro. And he's really surprised me. I'm pleasantly surprised. He's come on, and their team, he's got some good players around him. I'm happy for him because it's kind of, first time since, the late 80s they've been in a Super Bowl. So it's pretty neat. I
was wondering, they drafted him, a couple of years ago after that 19 season. And I guess to be the number one draft pick, they had to be the worst in the league. Is this maybe the quickest turnaround in NFL history?
Pretty much so, you're right.
Yeah.
His dad grew up in Tupelo.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was actually a high school player at Amory, from what I've read. Yeah, and his grandmother was is Dot. Her name was Dot, and she drove a school bus up there. And Will Hall said that she was his bus driver when he was in elementary school. And so it is a small world, isn't it?
Wow.
Because I think Will's from Amory too.
No matter what you come up with, whatever sport you got going on, you can find some kind of Mississippi connection with anything that goes on. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Listen, sticking on.
You also got. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They also mentioned too. Thinking about it, with Los Angeles Rams, you got Cam Akers from Clinton. On their team. He's a big story.
Sure is.
I was following him, and he tore or ruptured an Achilles at the first of the season, and he's back on the field. That's got to be somewhat of a miracle itself. I can't imagine anybody recovering from an Achilles rupture that fast.
Mm-hmm. They had an interview on the TV station up here recently with Coach Clinton and talking about what a miraculous recovery that is. But, he's one of these guys that, kind of like Jerry Rice, works harder than everybody else, back going again, and shows what he can do.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know you keep up with a little bit of college basketball. Why don't you talk about some college basketball teams that you've been covering games for?
I know I've been knowing Jay Ladner, and I've been knowing Clarence Weatherspoon a long time. I've talked to Jay for a good while up the Rumble of the South is a basketball tournament they have up here on Martin Luther King Day. And it's at Mississippi College in Clinton, and Jay was there, and I talked to him for a while, kind of about his program, but also just about the guys around here that he's recruiting. Rashad Bolden, the point guard, Southern Miss, I'm real familiar with because he played at St. Andrews here in the Jackson area. And I thought he'd do really well in Conference USA, and he's done very well. I know the team hasn't done that great, but that's something to look for in the future because I would imagine he's going to be on the all-freshman team. He's got freshman of the week twice this year already. You mentioned earlier about Deshaun Ruffin, who was my Metro Jackson Player of the Year for the past 2 years. He's a freshman at Ole Miss playing point guard. He's been put in a difficult situation because Darkill Jordan, their starting point guard, leads the scoring captain, is injured, had back surgery, so it's kind of thrown Deshaun in the fold and kind of been starting, but he's been out for like 6 or 8 weeks, a couple of injuries too, but now he's kind of come on. He was named the Freshman of the Week today, we talked about earlier, first time in 10 years that Ole Miss has had a freshman of the week. That's pretty remarkable. They have one since then.
Well, listen, we talking about, we've covered Southern there and Ole Miss, and let's just touch base for a minute about Mississippi State basketball. They had an unusual week. They go to Kentucky, lose in overtime, and then they go out to Lubbock, Texas, and didn't do really well. Kind of got blown out there. Is that the nature of their team this year?
Tulu Smith is one of their biggest players, the best players, and he's been out a good bit. He got hurt against Ole Miss. He was in the game late, and some people question why he was in the game, but regardless of that, he got hurt, and then he's been out for a while, and they played Texas Tech Saturday, and had a tough time with those guys. Molinar is a really good player. In fact, he may win the Bailey Howell Award for the best player in Mississippi. He's had a great year, but they're just, he's one of the. There's a lot of pieces aren't fitting together real well.
I got you.
I mean, I think they got a shot to go to the NCAA tournament if they play real well down the stretch. Definitely go to the NIT this year.
All right, listen, our final question. Tell us about the Deion Sanders effect on Jackson State, the SWAC, Mississippi in general.
Tell you what, he has done a remarkable job, not only just coaching the team, but bringing money and donations and just publicity to the school. He is very well known around the country. He's one of the most well-known athletes, I'd say, in the United States. And just he bringing in the recruits. This guy from Georgia, number one player in the nation. He's coming to Jackson State. He's got a bunch of transfer guys, D1 transfer guys. He's got a great coaching staff from various college backgrounds, and pro guys that he knows. It's just been remarkable what he's done. And, they had a great year this year, so I expect them. And then his son's really good, too. And then he's got a lot of NIL agreements going on, too. So he's really got things going on up here.
Well, listen, we do have time for one more question, Robert, because you're doing a fantastic job today for us. This transfer portal, Ole Miss goes out, and as of today, they're going to sign 11 kids out of that transfer portal, and every one of them was rated a 5-star, a 4-star, or a 3-star. And Southern Miss down there has around the same number of commits coming to them. How is this going to change college football? I mean, did Kiffin replace what he lost? Because it seemed like he lost some pretty good athletes, and now he seems like he's just restocked the shelves.
Well, I tell you what, the quarterback from Southern Cal and the tight end from Southern Cal, the biggest three are the quarterback, Southern Cal, but the transfer from TCU, the running back. I mean, that guy's probably one of the top guys in the country, too. Yeah, he's done a remarkable job. I think they're rated number one in the nation in transfer portal.
They are.
There's such a category like that. And Will Hall's done a super job because he's got guys, I don't know how many, you may know, from Ole Miss and State combined, probably between 6 and 10 are from Ole Miss and State. And so, that's going to help him out a lot, too. I don't know, it's kind of like free agency in baseball. It used to be baseball players would stay for a team for a long time, but nowadays they jump around all over the place. It's kind of like the way football is kind of getting to be now. And this transfer portal stuff. They've got to put some regulations on it somehow.
Yeah, that seemed to be the biggest thing. Maybe a season for it, because these guys, like last year, I think Ole Miss lost a linebacker in July. And, I mean, it's hard to replace a linebacker in July. I believe it is.
You got to recruit the coaches. They got to recruit the players every year.
Yeah, and if one coach leaves, like I know Ole Miss lost a really good running back because the running backs coach went to Miami. Well, he went with him, so
right.
It's kind of one of those following things now. Were you surprised at Sean Payton stepping down?
Well, he and Drew Brees were such a great duo. Not really. I thought that might be coming pretty soon. Yeah, he's had a great run for the Saints, and I guess he's got some other things he wants to do with his life. But it's going to be interesting what happens in New Orleans.
Hey, Robert, Dale gets to do all the talking, and I get to do all the bad news. I'm afraid to tell you we're out of time, but man, we sure do appreciate you taking time to be with us today. And maybe you can come back and visit with us again, but we appreciate you. So right now we're going to have to take a break and hear from some of our sponsors, but we'll be back with more of the Brouhaha after this break.
you have any roof damage or missing shingles? Do you need a roof inspection to ensure your roof is functioning properly? Look no further than the roofing specialist Jackson Brothers Construction Services. We are here to service you with affordable prices, amazing customer service, and quality work you'll be proud of. Call us today at 251-295-6442.
The Jackson Brothers Construction Services. They'll do you right. You heard it here first.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's final segment of this February Brouhaha. Dale, we had a nice visit with that guy. I'm telling you what, I wish we could have spent more time with him. Anything that we addressed there you want to kind of follow up on?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, he did a good job with all of them. I know, we talked about Dion, and we're going to try to get Dion on the show here in the next couple of weeks, and we hope our listeners, listen in for that. But there's just so much going on now in the sports world. It's like it never stops. I can write my column on Sunday night at 9 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock I should have put a couple things more in because some stuff happened.
He brought up this transfer portal, and I mean, kind of harping on Ole Miss. I mean, they're probably the media darlings of the state on a national level right now with the arrival of Kiffin and the success this year. He talked about they do have the #1 transfer portal class in the country after they signed the guys from Southern Cal, and they moved up to 5th in the SEC following Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, and LSU. So they're in pretty good company. That's about as good as you can get when you get up there with those guys.
Yes, out of the 10 transfers or 11 transfers that Ole Miss has taken in, one was a 5-star, the quarterback. They have 7 4-stars and 4 3-stars. So they're having a really great year. And Southern Miss has, like I said, they were rated the best transfer portal signees in the Conference USA.
I'm really excited about USM. And I've hated on this portal when it first started. When the deal started several years ago at Ole Miss, when they let Jefferson and they let I can't even remember the guy's name anymore. Shea Patterson went. I told somebody, I said they're fixing to open up Pandora's box, and I really didn't like it. But Joe Burrows, we talked about him, with Robert. Had it not been for the transfer portal, nobody would know who this guy was. I mean, so I guess there's value in it.
Yes. Well, Justin Fields, he was the second-string quarterback at Georgia.
Yeah, that's true.
And he ended up going to Ohio State and winning. Did he win the national championship and then became a first-round draft choice of the Bears?
Well, I think it was 2 years ago, all 3 of the Heisman finalists had been through the portal.
Yes.
So it's probably going to have to take some refinement, and like you guys were talking about, put a time on it because, like you say, losing a guy in June or July there's just nothing you can do to replace that. So I'm sure it's probably a work in is it process or progress? Where do they say progress? Work in progress. That's what this transfer portal is. Kind of like us, Dale.
It's like taking a chance.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take one.
You do.
Because you never know what's going to happen. Oh, Dale, the Super Bowl's coming up Sunday, February the 13th at 5:30 Central Standard Time in Inglewood, California at SoFi Stadium. It's a pretty new stadium, having opened up in September of 2020 with it. What do you think it costs to build a stadium like that, Dale? $200. Just a wild
I tell you what, it probably there's no telling. They probably, they'll probably put a price figure on it, but I don't know, 900 million maybe.
Well, I tell you what, I couldn't have guessed it. It said 5 to 6 billion.
Billion.
$5 to $6 billion. You know, SoFi. I was wondering. I heard them talking about it. I said, "What is SoFi?" You know what SoFi is?
That's something to do with internet, doesn't it?
It's a banking.
Oh, it's
banking. So if you figure a $5 to $6 billion football stadium with the name SoFi on it, that's a bank. That kind of makes sense. Get it, Dale? Sense.
I do.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. It seats 70,240 people with 260 executive suites. Interesting note here, Dale. It's the home stadium of the NFC representative LA Rams.
I know.
You know, but the Rams are going to be the visiting team in the Super Bowl because the Bengals are going to be the home team. Now tell me, I mean, really? I mean, give me a break. You know, I guess that's just the way it goes.
It will, they should switch that around but I'm sure the Bengals are going to say, no.
We know last year they had a similar situation in Tampa Bay.
They did.
You know, so, you say, what are the odds, of a participant in the Super Bowl having it played at their stadium?
Well, look at this. For 54 years, that didn't happen. Then last year it happened, and this year it happened.
Wow.
So,
You just never know. Dale, you ever been to a Super Bowl?
No, I had tickets to one, and I didn't get to go. I had tickets to Minnesota and Pittsburgh in the Sugar Bowl.
That was in at Tulane Stadium.
Yeah, in the Sugar Bowl. And I still got the tickets at home, and they've never been torn apart. And, and the price was, I want to say, I'm not sure what the price was, maybe $20 each.
That was a different time, Dale, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, college football, I remember college football, you go to the games in Jackson, see Ole Miss and State for like $6.
Yeah. I was when that game was played, I was going to school in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I had a buddy up there, and he was quite a guy. He was from Greenville, South Carolina, and he decided he wanted to go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, so he hitchhiked down there to New Orleans, went to the Super Bowl, spent the night in a bus station, and then hitchhiked back to Chattanooga. That was quite a sense of adventure. Well, Dale, you ever hitchhiked?
Well, when my dad was in the military, on a military base, you would hitchhike from like one little place to another across town. But usually there was a certain area you went to hitchhike, and people would take you to where you wanted to go.
I've heard guys from Waynesboro talking about hitchhiking to Ole Miss back in the 50s and 60s. Hitchhiking back and forth to school.
That's a long way.
That's a long way, man. It's a long way. Listen, talking about Super Bowls, I went to one time. My friend James Williams, who some of us around here affectionately refer to as the Rat, we went to one. It was in 1978. It was Denver versus Dallas, and Dallas won that game 27-10. Do you know who the quarterbacks were in that game, Dale? Now you're a sports writer of 40 years. I bet you get this.
Staubach and Morton.
Well, I believe Morton might have been injured. I believe a guy named Norris Weeks played in that game.
Well, Norris did get to play toward the end there because Morton did get hurt. But Morton, was the backup for Staubach and went to Denver on a trade.
So I knew you'd nail it.
And everything.
Keep talking. This is awesome, Dale.
No, I'm just telling you what I know because, there wasn't as many teams back then. You could keep up with a little bit better than you can now. I couldn't tell you half of the players on the Bengals and the Rams now.
It's going to be the same way with colleges. We're not going with this free agency and transfer. We're not going to be able to keep. Do you know who you talk about Norris Weeks? He was a Louisiana guy. Where did he play football? College football?
University of Mississippi.
Who did he follow?
He followed Archie.
Yes, sir. Boy, you're a machine, Dale. We're going to start. You're not a McKee. You're a machine.
Well, to be honest with you, he and Kenny Lyons were fighting for that job, and Kenny got his knee hurt. That's Barry's brother, Kenny, and Kenny got his knee hurt, and Kenny had played down at Biloxi, Notre Dame, and I want to say Weiss was from Chalumet.
Something. You could put both of us together. We couldn't say that, Dale, but we took
all I know is I see it going in.
That's right. A little Super Bowl trivia, Now, again, I got to give this credit to my boy Rat. We were talking on the phone this morning, and we were talking about this, and he asked me how many Heisman winning quarterbacks ever won a Super Bowl.
I don't think any.
Well, he could think of one.
Plunkett.
That's the one I came up with, and you're right. You're right. He won one.
Yeah, he did.
We just talked about one that won another one.
Joe Burrow.
Roger Staubach.
Oh, Roger Staubach.
Roger
That's
Staubach.
right. So we got two.
We got two of them. There was here's a look. I think.
Now Burrows is going to be three.
Well, sooner or later, if he stays healthy, he'll probably get one. Quite a turnaround up there for the Bengals. What team has won the most Super Bowl appearances? Or no, wait a minute. Let me rephrase. Your Honor, let me restate this question.
Okay.
All righty. What team has the most Super Bowl appearances?
I would want to say New England.
You get it. You got it. Spot on, Dale. They had 11 with their first in 1985. That was the year that
The Bears.
the Bears, the best defense, some people say, in football history, the 85 Bears. What team has the most Super Bowl wins?
I would say Pittsburgh and maybe New England.
You got it. The machine continues to grind. The wheels are spinning over here. The Pats and the Steelers. Most Super Bowl losses. Now, this is going to really test you, big boy. Let's see. If you can get one, there's two of them here. It's a tie. If you can get one of these.
Minnesota and Buffalo.
That's mighty. I was thinking Buffalo too. But the article that I read said Denver and the Patriots. Now
that could be because I'm guessing on this stuff, but I do know that Buffalo lost 4 in a row, and Minnesota lost theirs.
Yeah.
I remember the Chiefs beat them one time, Miami beat them one time, the Raiders beat them one time, and somebody else beat them one time. But okay, so let me see now. Okay, he's saying the who now? Who's lost the most?
It says here Denver and the Patriots.
Okay.
Well,
I know Elway and them lost, was it 3 before they won their 2?
I keep going back to Buffalo. That's one that sticks out in my mind, but it wasn't in this article. But, Kelly and them up there, it seemed like they were so close and so close and so close. And it was a heartbreaker. I always think about Marino and Kelly. They were such great players, and they had so many opportunities, but never could quite capture that one. It's a rare bird for them.
Well, I'm trying to think. I know Denver lost to New York and Washington. That was 2 of their losses, and I'm trying to think of who else they might have lost to. Not sure.
Yeah. Well, if you're not sure, I'm certainly not. But I do know what I've got. Who's teams that have never made it? I'm going to throw these out there for you. The Lions, bless their heart, they've been at it a long time and they've never made it. Stafford, the quarterback from Georgia that's now with the Rams, it's worked out pretty good for him because he's been in Detroit and he wasn't going to make it his first year over here. He's getting a shot. I know he's tickled to death.
I assume, Jacksonville hadn't made it.
No, they haven't made it. The Browns or the Texans. They're the ones that haven't made it. Which college has the most Super Bowl quarterbacks? This is a tough one. I'm gonna throw them out there, and you might name a quarterback or something. Cal has had 5. And of course we know Aaron Rodgers, and that's the only one I could come up with.
Joe Cap.
Joe Cap for the number 11 for the Vikings. I didn't realize he played at Cal. I forgot that. He was one of my favorite players when I was a child.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, but that's, let me think, because I'm trying to think of, I don't know who else. Who else would have been?
Man, well, Fouts never made a Super Bowl, did he?
Fouts played at California? I thought he played.
He's Oregon. He's at Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, now, okay. They're talking about let me give you one question before you get back, okay? Tell me what SEC team has had the most winning quarterbacks play in the Super Bowl. We've got 2 this week, right? Burrows and Stafford, both SEC products.
Could you repeat the question? I was testifying in the court of law one time, and my attorney said, always ask him to repeat the question.
Who is the, let's maybe repeat as easy as I can. What SEC team is the only SEC team that's had a starting quarterback win the Super Bowl?
Alabama. Joe Namath won the first one.
Stabler
won it. Well, I tell you, Alabama had 3. that's won it.
Who else?
Okay, they've had Stabler, they had Namath,
Yeah.
and there's one more.
One more.
It's probably, I can't get it.
What if I give you his first name?
I probably can't get it if you give me his first name. Give it to me.
Bart.
What?
Bart. B-A-R-T.
Not, but that's, you know what, that joker's from Georgia that played at Alabama. He gets me every time. Wasn't he Bart Starr?
No, we went to University of Alabama.
But he's from Georgia.
I don't know.
He grew up-
I thought he was from Alabama.
Oh, okay.
But he played at Alabama.
Yeah. You know, that's one I miss. I mean, I just don't think about Bart Starr playing at Alabama because, you know, you can think about all that ice and all that snow, and I can just remember him, you know, up there in the frozen tundra, you know, up there at Lambeau. But I didn't realize, I just missed him for somehow. What a great player. Mm-hmm. What a great player. You know, Dale, it's been a lot of fun, as it always is. We've kind of ventured off into our own area here a little bit tonight, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You know a lot of stuff.
I do.
Yeah. Well, you ain't got to brag, Dale. You ain't got to brag.
Okay.
You know, you said you do. You're supposed to say, well, thank you.
Yeah, well, let's leave our viewers seeking more.
Okay.
All right. There's a proposal on the table for our high school football teams in Mississippi.
Come on with it.
They're thinking about doing like Alabama and have 7 classes. Add another class, a 7A class. And the top 3, 7, 6, and 5 would all have 24 teams. Then the 4, 3, and 2As would have 40 teams each. And then 1A will have everybody else.
You'll have a staggered start to the playoffs, will you not?
Always.
With the 24.
Well, they're thinking the 24 may reduce the playoff teams also. It could reduce them because you're going to have 4 6-team divisions instead of, you know, the 8-team divisions you have now. So why do you think they're doing this?
Well, you know, I know an answer to that question, but I got to tell you, the only reason I know the answer to it, I can't explain it, but I can give you a one-word answer because you told me.
No, I told you my opinion.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, your opinion is good enough for me. I can spell it for you. Money. That usually runs everything, doesn't it, Dale?
You can put an exclamation point on the end of that.
Well, folks, we're going to put an exclamation point at the end of money, and if any word deserves it, it certainly does. Our time has come to an end tonight. Dale and I appreciate you being with us. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Brouhaha and on YouTube at, you guessed it, the Brouhaha, and join us next week. But for now, you know what time it is, Dale. It's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye, Dale.
We'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Take us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.